a lot of Niner fans the last couple of weeks have been drawing parallels to the 2011 Giants because that's a team that famously won as a wild card team and went through Candlestick to do it. Are there parallels between Jimmy Garoppolo and Eli Manning?
Yeah, so I actually on Tuesday after I watched the game, I said this team gives me some 2011 Giants vibes, and it's because the 2011 Giants, if you remember, Eli Manning set the NFL record that year in fourth quarter comeback wins. They would win a lot of really close games. They were kind of a weird team because they would make mistakes, blah blah blah. And Garoppolo, for me in that game specifically, really reminded me of Eli. And they're not very similar in terms of their play style. I think Eli is just a better quarterback and he's more talented than Garoppolo, especially as just like an all-around thrower to all parts of the field. But I do think in terms of their personalities, there is a similarity. They have this kind of, I don't want to call it a nonchalance because they definitely care, but it's almost like a totally obliviousness to the fact that they made a mistake or they're
Right.
playing well. It's almost
As
as
opposed
if
to
like
Nick Mullins, right? Who
right.
you'd see him beating himself up on the field, on the sideline. It's like, you care too much, man. You really care too much.
And it
Yeah,
affects him, right?
it
One
does.
mistake, and you can see then he tightens up. Like he
Yep.
misses the first throw on a slant against the Eagles. Then he's got Kyle Juszczyk wide open for an 85-yard
Snowball.
touchdown, and he throws a terrible pass.
Right.
But Jimmy, Eli Manning, like Jimmy can throw a pick in the next drive. It's like he
Didn't
doesn't
happen.
even know that he threw
Yeah,
a pick. And
didn't even
I
happen.
think Eli has that same thing. And since that Cincinnati game to me emphasized it the most because honestly, I didn't think he played very well for the first three quarters or so of that Cincinnati game. I thought he left yards in the field. I thought he was a little skittish at times. Then the entire perception of that game changed because the last two drives he got hot. And once he got hot, and when Jimmy Garoppolo gets hot, it looks pretty because he's got a pretty
Yeah.
throwing motion. He can
Yeah.
be accurate when he's hot, and it looks how it's supposed to look because
Yeah.
he'll get the ball out on time, on schedule, and it just feels like back foot hits the ground and he gets the ball out. And when he gets hot, and I think Eli was kind of the same way where he was a little streaky, but when Eli got hot, Eli took it to a level to me that was like amongst the top quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't think Jimmy takes it quite to that level,
Yeah.
but I do think Jimmy's best is a lot higher than, I think he's more physically talented than a Kirk Cousins because his best, some throws he can make, Kirk Cousins can't make with a person in his face, without setting his feet, flicking a ball into a tighter window over the middle of the field, 10 to 12 yards. I don't think so. I think that's where I draw that parallel.
I just want to draw one distinction, though. To me, Eli Manning was undeniably clutch. 2 shots at the Super Bowl against Brady, won them both, and each time had a huge throw down the field to win it. One to Tyree, one to Manningham. I can't get Jimmy's one fourth quarter in the Super Bowl. And I know it's just one game, but it really does define his career until he gets back there and wins it. So that would be but I definitely see what you're saying in terms of their demeanor. It's totally true. It is absolutely, he has the Eli Manning demeanor, which frankly is an asset. Because if Peyton had the Eli Manning demeanor, Peyton would have had more Super Bowls, in my opinion. He cared too much too.
I think so too. And it is an asset. This is 100% a compliment in my opinion.
It is.
It's a testament. And I think he is clutch. I do understand the Super Bowl argument because that's when really the definition of clutchness is made. But other than the Super Bowl, he does kind of show out whenever he has to make that one drive. No matter what's happened prior in the game, it is like Eli Manning because Eli Manning can throw 3 picks and then come back late in the game and make 4 throws, and you go, why weren't you throwing the ball like this earlier in the game? It'll never make sense. And Jimmy Garoppolo has that in him too.
Yep. Good call. Mike says Jimmy seems to play better without as much influence from Kyle, i.e. in 2 minutes warning. 2-minute warnings? What do you think?
I saw Colin Cowherd said the same thing. I don't think it's as much that. I just think if you go back and look at what Jimmy Garoppolo,
Colin Cowherd said it, huh? Hold on.
Yeah, if you go look at what Garoppolo,
what do I think?
No, it's to me, it's a product of who he was in college and what he was asked to do. And his natural instinct is just to get the ball in the shotgun and play a little freelance a little more, play in traffic a bit more, and just play his natural game on instinct. And in a 2-minute drill, it gets spread out and he's able to do that. And that's his game. That's who he was in college. I think it's just that's when habit, you're not going to change who you are, even though like his habit is to play quarterback that way. And in 2-minute drills, he's able to do that. You can't play like that for the entirety of a game, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think it's kind of anyway. Yeah, absolutely. I just think it's funny that Cowherd said it. Like, where did he think of that himself, or did one of his former colleagues at Fox say that? Anyway, interesting thought. Refs gave ATL 10 points in the game. Both got held again. And even Armstead on Falcons lone touchdown pass roughing call on key very suspect. This is what kills me about Niner fans. I understand Raider fans and their paranoia, but not like the Niners are a cash cow for the league. They're the biggest franchise in the West Coast. They make a lot of money. They're one of the richest franchises in the NFL. Why would the NFL work against and help Atlanta? Atlanta.
Yeah,
Why?
no.
Atlanta means nothing to the league. Dude, are they making money? I don't know.
Yeah, no. The issue is when we do the refs this way, like sure, the Arden Key call was bad, but if you watch 10 games on a Sunday the way I do, you see the Arden Key get made 4 times each Sunday, and
Yeah.
all 4 times it's a bad call. It's
To me,
just
it's a
the league
bad rule.
continues to make that
I don't
bad
really know
call
what
and that
refs
bad
are supposed to
rule.
do
Yeah,
with that. That's a ridiculous rule. I
I
can't
agree.
land on the guy. It's football.
I
What are you
agree,
talking
and
about?
I think that's the big problem. I think, and it's in every team.
Yeah.
Every team's fandom has this. Anybody who's a fan of everything has it. It's always the victim mentality. When the reality of it is that there's about 7 victims every week to the refs because the refs are terrible in the NFL.
That's a good point. Yeah. The refs aren't good. The teams aren't that good. Love Mondays with Vish. Percent Trey starts in 2022. Give us a quick percent.
100.
Oh, I love that. Nick Mullins will spank the Raiders today. I hope so, man. I hope the Nick Mullins story has a second act. Jamaican Boy says, Grant, my pessimistic brother, Niners will run out of luck. Niners been fortunate to get the dub on teams that are slightly worse than them. Vish, keep the beard. Yeah, I like the beard. I like the beard. Jamaican Boy, I feel you, man. I do. But I'm not going to go in too hard. Andre Nicotina, big fan of your work, says, shout out to Niner fans who've had a bad day when Jimmy plays good. I eat my cereal on victory morning smiling about it. You eat your cereal smiling about Jimmy Garoppolo? That's cool. That's what's up. Jimmy's
Who
fans
has
are,
a bad day when Jimmy plays good? I don't
I
think
don't.
anybody has a bad day when Jimmy plays good. I don't think anybody has a bad day. Honestly, I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo dictates mood. I think people get upset with Jimmy Garoppolo when the Niners don't do well because he's the quarterback of the team. I mean, people act like it was any different, but I remember people getting real mad with Colin Kaepernick in 2015 when the Niners weren't playing very well under Jim Thompson. Like, he's regressed, he's not the same, his mechanics suck, he can't throw short, blah blah blah. It's a natural thing with Alex Smith the same way. I remember 2011, every time the Niners lost, it was because Alex Smith couldn't throw down the field, blah blah blah. So
That Niner guy says Niners this year are the Chargers from the late 2000s, early 2010s. Bad starts cost them hold field and Super Bowl appearance.
I hope they're not that unlucky.
Those teams were unlucky.
Yeah.
Lombardi says Debo, first wide receiver in NFL history with 1,000 yards receiving to be converted to running back during the season.
I have no words. It's funny. I was actually watching his stream. I don't know why it came on my Twitter feed today, and he took a shot at me while I was watching it. It was pretty funny.
What did he say?
He's been taking shots at like everybody, but he only does it on his Twitter screen. He's still salty about the little back and forth that we had on Twitter, which again, if he didn't say anything, like if he wasn't so pretentious and dismissive and arrogant, I wouldn't have said anything to him because I don't care that much. I respect what he does. This isn't even my profession. But he was, so then I went back at him. And he basically, I was watching the stream and he was like, there was an attack on me. I don't even know the guy who did it. He said, I don't even understand EPA. You don't understand EPA. And then I was
He said that.
I said, I'm here. I said, I'm right here, LMAO. And he wouldn't pull the comment up or say anything. But it's funny because I'm still yet to hear him explain what this stat of EPA that he cites. I know how the model works. I'm going into a career in data science, so I think it's pretty interesting, pretty funny because I don't really care, but I just think it's funny that I made this guy so salty.
David, let me give you some professional advice. Stop messing with Vish, all right? Stop. Because if you keep it going, Vish has so much more he can say. I'm just saying, you don't want this. You got the smoke originally. It didn't go well. I would just say drop it at this point and move on to other topics because you're having a very successful career and this will only hurt you. Vish is my friend. He doesn't want to do this, but he can only defend himself if backed into a corner, and he has my full blessing. Brittany says, Vish, your degree in computer science, data analytics, correct? How often do you incorporate your degree when discussing football and how? That's a great question.
Yeah, so my degree, well, I mean, I'm going to complete it in May, but it's in computer science. But my interest of focus is in data science. I've done 2 internships actually in data science, and um, I don't really incorporate it other than because like a lot of these data models that people use to calculate EPA, CPOE, and put up these graphs, it's done in a way that I can understand because I've studied the topic. So I use it only there to try and understand how the model works and then try to understand how the statistics works because there's actually use to all of those analytics. Every single one of those analytics that David Lombardi uses are have their own worth and they're fantastic and everybody uses them, not just him. He just cites them more. That he's kind of become why are you laughing?
Enough of him. Yeah.
But the point is they have a valid use. You just have to know how to cite them and what context you're citing them. And I think that's what really gets lost because
that's why I don't mess with them because I was an English major and I couldn't even begin to tell you. I don't even know what it stands for.
But it's the PFF-ication of NFL fandom because PFF has now given you fancier numbers and NFL fans
don't
and
trust
arguments
what you don't know what you're talking about. Let these 23-year-old interns explain it for you. Yeah, that's what I get.
Yeah, because everybody wants to just throw out fancier numbers, right? Because now,
77.4.
If you and I, Grant, were sitting at the lunch table or sitting at a coffee shop and arguing about the 49ers, and you throw out 4,000 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, those are just counting stats. Now I sound smarter if I throw out 98.4 PFF grade, 0.134 EPA when throwing in automatic pass situations. I might not know what any of that means or how that works or how any of it understands.
But you just went up your friend.
If I throw that out.
Yeah, your buddy feels dumb. You won the interaction. You get it feels a good fit. Yeah. This is why I a lot of my friends are girls because we don't talk about PFF grades. You know, we don't have to be right. But not all my friends. Anyway, I'm just saying, Brittany, I feel you.